Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. You are watching my knitting podcast videos and my name is Sari, and today I'm going to be sharing with you what I have on my needles. Took unexpectedly a long time for me to be able to record a new video for you. It has been a very typical November weather in Finland, and it has been so dark. I kind of always forget how dark it gets during November, and now it's already December. It's really grey and cloudy outside. It's every now and then it's snowing, then it's raining, then it's snowing again, so I really don't know what is coming down from the sky at the moment. I think it's snow at the moment. I hope it's snow. I'm usually not very much of a winter person. I'm born at the beginning of December. It was actually my birthday a few days ago. But I hate winter. I have a really dry atopic skin, and I literally suffer during the cold months. My skin gets really dry, and if it's really cold, then my nose starts bleeding and I get all kinds of rashes, and it's not very pretty, and it's not certainly not comfortable. So I prefer summer, especially I've talked about it here on my YouTube channel earlier. I get so much more energy during summers, and as the season starts to turn to winter, I notice that my energy levels start to drop. Especially the older I get, the harder these dark months become for me. For example, during the summer season, when I get off from work and it's something like 4 p.m. and it's still light outside. It's light in Finland during the summer. It never gets dark. It's light until the bedtime and beyond that. So even at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. it's still light outside, and if I want to go outside for a walk, if I want to go to walk in the forest, which is like the place where I get the most energy, it's still light and I can do that. But nowadays it gets dark at 3:30 p.m. the latest. So when I leave from work at 4, it's pitch black. And especially now that there's no snow, it feels even darker. And I don't like snow. Like I said, I don't like snow, but somehow last year we had no snow in Helsinki, which is very uncommon. And even though my skin and my overall health really liked it, it's quite miserable to not have any snow at all. It was so wet and cold and dark all the time. And our son, who is now 5 years old, he was really sad that he couldn't go outside and play in the snow to make a snowman and to ride down the hill with his sleigh. So we didn't get to do that at all last year. So I kind of this year has been so hard and miserable that I kind of hope that we would get more snow this year. Especially with the COVID situation getting worse again here in Finland. And last week they closed all the public libraries and all the museums and swimming pools and so on here in Helsinki. So if the weather is wet and miserable for this winter, it's going to be one long winter. Because last winter we visited a lot of museums, we were all the time at the library and so on, but if you can't do that, then I really hope that we can spend a lot of time outside. Like I mentioned, during the darker seasons, I've noticed that my energy levels drop, and I also noticed that I'm slower and I'm more tired all the time. So somehow I feel like I've been getting so much less done that I usually do. When you see everything that I have knitted since the last video I published, you will probably disagree with me when I say that I get nothing done, but even though I know I do a lot of stuff all the time, but it's the feeling of not being able to do anything and not get anything done that's bugging me. And I think I have such a long to-do list at the moment and not enough hours during the day to do everything. I think it's a combination of in Finland we call it väsymys. That means kaamos is the dark time of the year, the time when it's Luna is here again. You can only see her tail at the moment. Kaamos is the time of the year when the sun doesn't come up at all in the northern parts of Finland. Väsymys means being tired. So there's like a thing called kaamosväsymys. So the tiredness you get during this dark time of the year. So I think I'm suffering from that. And in addition to that, it's been super challenging to take care of our family during this COVID restriction time. I'm mostly working from home at the moment. I think at the moment I'm only going to the office once a week, but I still have to take our son to the daycare, which is next to my office. So every day I ride the bus from home to his daycare in the morning. That takes like half an hour. I drop him at the daycare, and instead of going work, which is almost next door, I take the bus back and another half an hour. Then I work from home, and at 4 I take the bus again to the city, pick him up from the daycare and ride the bus back. So I'm sitting 2 hours every day on the bus at the moment, just like taking my son to the daycare and coming back home. And my husband is traveling quite a lot for work at the moment. So I'm kind of like a single parent at the moment. So it's been quite challenging. It's been hard, and trying to do my own work on top of that, and also like my day job at Novita, and also my own work. And I have a pile of patterns that I should write. I just finished writing the Sade pullover pattern, so I'm sending it off to my tech editor today. And next thing on the list is the Adelita vest, which I'm wearing. You can see it's finished now. I think in my previous episode I was still working on it, and that's the next thing on my list. And then you will see that I made a mini version of the Sawyer pullover for Theo, my son, and that's like the next thing after the Adelita vest to be knitted. But I have such a long pile of everything I should do. I should make the last edits to some patterns from my upcoming book, so I can get the patterns also for test knitting, and then I have the Edgar pullover, for example, and a couple of hat patterns, and I'm working on new patterns as well, so I have a lot of things that I should write. And I've been making my own websites since summer, but I haven't even had the time to make them to the point that I could launch the website. And also I've been working on some knitting tutorials, but I don't have time to do that, so it's really bugging me. I really need like at least 4 extra hours every day to finish everything. But yeah, it's been quite hectic lately. I'm really looking forward to the Christmas time. I have a bit over almost 2 weeks of holidays during the Christmas time, so really hoping to get to relax at that point. But that's what's going on at the moment in my life, and I promised I would show you what I've been making. Already mentioned that the Adelita vest is now finished. I can show you a bit more so you can see here, and decided to seam it all the way down to the ribbing, so it's just the ribbing here that has the slit, and the back, you can see, doesn't have the cable pattern, so it's just the knit and purl pattern. And I'm sitting on Luna. I stood up, and she took the opportunity to go and lie in my place, and then I sat on her. But luckily she doesn't mind, she's still here. What was I going to say? At first I made one by one ribbing, both on the edges of the sleeves and at the neckline, but it didn't look nice, so instead I ripped them back, and I picked up the stitches and knit them at the same time, and then I just purled one round, or I bound all the stitches off by purling, so I think it looks much better and neater now. So that's one thing that I have finished. I also finished the Hugo collar. Remember the garter rib collar that I was making for my sister? I showed it to you in my previous episode, and but I gave it to my sister already last week. We did take some photos of it before I gave it away, so I think I can put some photos here over my face so you can see how it looks. And it's already being test knitted, so the pattern is coming out very soon. Another pattern that is coming out from me, I think next week, is the Helmi pullover. It's the one with the 2 rows of bubbles down the front. So also that test knit is now wrapping up, and I'm going to send the pattern to my tech editor for the final layout. And also the Sawyer pullover pattern is now published, and you can find it in my Ravelry store. Here's the Sawyer pattern. It has been very well received and very popular, and I have used my Sawyer a lot. So I had about 3 skeins of leftover yarn after finishing my Sawyer. So I made a mini Sawyer for Theo, and it's exactly the same as the larger one. The only difference is that it's missing this zigzag cable. so it only has this part, but other than that it's exactly like the larger Sawyer, and this is the size for my 5-year-old son. I ordered these cute labels from Etsy, so it has our last name on it, and it's really nice. I absolutely love it, and Theo also loves it, so I'm going to write the pattern, and then there's going to be a call for test knitters. When Theo was baby, actually before he was born, when I was still pregnant with him, I knitted a lot of things for him. If you have been following me around that time on Instagram, it's already almost 6 years ago. You might remember that I made a lot of like little cardigans and toys and such for him while I was expecting. But then I didn't use the self-knitted things much because they were not very practical, I could say. They're hard to wash, and some of them with a lot of buttons and so on, they're hard to put on and change the diapers and so on. So I didn't use them as much as I intended to. And after that, for many years, Theo didn't want me to knit him anything. He was always saying that he doesn't want to wear what I have made him, and didn't even want to use the time to make anything for him, because I knew that he wouldn't use them at all. So that would just be like I make them and nobody ever wears them. So kind of like what's the point of me making things for him if he doesn't want to wear them? So instead I didn't make anything for him. I only made stuff for myself. But during the past maybe 6 months or so, he has started to ask me to knit things for him. Every time I have something new on my needles, he's like asking, "What are you making? Is that something for me?" Especially if it's something with mohair. He's like obsessed with mohair at the moment. He wants all the mohair, and every time he sees a mohair skein somewhere, he just takes it and starts rubbing it in his face and saying that, "Oh, I love this, it's so gorgeous." So he was really happy about the Sawyer sweater, and I had totally forgotten how quick it is to make kids pullovers, so I made this in 1 week. So I think I will start making more kids patterns now, for because they want to wear them, and also because they are so quick to make. It's kind of like this like mommy and me thing for kids clothes. I was thinking about making a baby Edgar, or kids Edgar, not baby. Theo is no longer a baby. And also another thing that I was going to make, I'll show you the yarn later, but I was planning to make like a cabled fisherman pullover. So I think that's something that I will make a mommy and me kind of pullover as well as the pun cardigan. So I think that will also work really nicely as a kid's version. I've also made 2 hats for Theo. I was kind of like embarrassed the other day, a few weeks ago, when I went to pick up Theo from the daycare, and I realized that he was wearing a hat and a cowl that I had bought for him from Zara. I was like, I'm knitting all the time. I have so many unused pieces of knitwear that I have made at home, and my son is using a hat and a cowl from a high street brand. So I said to Theo that, okay, let's go to Snurre, which is our local yarn store here in Helsinki. and you can pick up whatever yarn you want, and I will make you 2 hats. So of course when we got in, he spotted this cold colored silk mohair yarn. It was a mustard color yarn from either Sensai, and he just had to have it. It was like, this is the one, this I want a hat from this. And I tried to say that you have to pick some other yarn as well to combine it with, that you can't really use just that. So then he went around touching everything, you know, the way kids do, and he found a similar color, like a mustard yellow colored Cardiff Cashmere yarn, and he was like, okay, this is the one. So now he has a hat. This is the most luxurious, the softest hat ever. It is made with silk mohair and cashmere, so it looks like this. And I've been writing the pattern for this. I really like it, so I was thinking about making an adult sized version of this as well. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe I won't use cashmere for myself, but something else. But yeah, this one, and also another label with our last name that I got from Etsy as well. I think this is a really nice way to finish off, especially Theo's knitwear, so it doesn't get lost at the daycare. And the other yarn he picked was this, I think the colorway was called Deep Forest or something like that. This is the Vivacious DK from Fyberspates. We went to visit family last weekend before all the, I don't know if there are coming more restrictions, but I haven't been to our hometown since August, so I wanted to go and visit family when we still can. It's a 400 kilometers drive, so it took us something like 5 hours, and I had casted on the stitches the night before, and because it's so dark at the moment, so I needed something that I can just like mechanically just knit and not having to look at. So I finished the whole 1 by 1 ribbed section during the car drive, and started the 3 by 2 ribbing at the top. And then when we were at home, we watched one movie during the evening, and I almost finished the whole hat, so I had just the last decreases left, and I finished them off the next day. So I made this very basic ribbed hat for Theo. This one doesn't have the pom-pom on it, so that he can use it with his bike helmet. And also that little tag is from Etsy. It's removable, so you can just like take it out. It has like this metal knob, and you just put it through the knitwear and close it, so you can remove it if you need to wash it. But I think it makes this look like polished or finished. So I think I will write the pattern for this one as well. I think it's really nice and cute. It fits him really well. I'm really happy about this hat. Maybe I will make also one for myself, like one size bigger or something like that. Those are the things that I have made for Theo. And then I have 3 new pullover projects here. This is the first one. This is actually the same yarn that I'm using, that I used for the Adelita vest. It's Illustrious DK Naturals from West Yorkshire Spinners. This is the colorway Old Lace. It's a really nice yarn. It's a 70% Falkland wool and 30% British alpaca yarn. And I'm making this like bubble stitch pullover, and it's a really nice relaxing pattern. It's so much easier than it actually looks like. It's like I'm working 5 rounds in stockinette stitch, and then I always need like 4 rounds below, so like for example here, and then dropping the stitches so that it looks like this on the wrong side of the work, so it's kind of like smoked, and it looks really nice. And this is going to be a very basic pullover with buttons on the shoulder, so I'm going to add like golden buttons on one shoulder. At first I was thinking maybe doing raglan pullover and putting the bubbles here on the raglans, but then I think it might be a bit too much with the bubble stitch, so I think there might be a bit too much going on. I really like the idea of having buttons, like gold buttons here over the raglan lines, but I think I will save that for something that is maybe a bit more simple, maybe a stockinette pullover or something, or ribbed pullover or something like that. I think the bubble stitch and the buttons are too much combined, so I will put the buttons here on the shoulder. So I want something really classy and kind of like elegant, so that's what I'm making. Another is the pun cardigan that I already mentioned here. You might remember me knitting the green, khaki green cardigan that I started back in 2018, and I finished earlier this autumn. And I said that it's been on my needles for such a long time that instead of trying to do all kinds of detective work and retrace my steps, I decided that I will work the pattern again and this time write the pattern up as I go. So I started a second pun cardigan last week, and it's actually the wrong side, this is the right side. So it is worked in fisherman's rib, so half brioche stitch. The other side looks like this, and this is such a gorgeous combination of yarns. It's knitting for Olive's soft silk mohair. This is the colorway Brown Nougat, and I'm combining it with knitting for Olive's Merino, and this is the colorway Hazel. So this is the combination that I'm using, and kind of like that this one is a warmer and lighter, and this is like a darker and a colder shade. So I think it results in such a nice color. Really enjoying this one. And for the bottom band I'm going to use only this one, so it has some contrast. So beautiful. Can't wait to finish it. I know that I will absolutely love wearing that cardigan. And a third project has been something that has given me a bit more headache. I have a very strong visual idea of what I want to make, I will first show you my swatch. So I'm gonna make a pullover that has this is not moss stitch, I'm not quite sure what it's called. Moss stitch has only like one knit and then one purl. This is like always 2 knits and 2 purls side by side, so it kind of like makes this waffle look. And then there's garter stitch, so there's always going to be like a stripe of this not moss stitch, but the 2x2 moss stitch, I'll call it that. I'll have to check the name later. And then there's going to be a small stripe of garter stitch, and then again a block of the wider moss stitch, and then a garter stitch stripe, and so on. For the sleeves, instead of garter stitch, there's going to be a row of bobbles. So there's going to be the wider moss stitch, and then a row of bobbles, and moss stitch and a row of bobbles. So that's the plan. And either a raglan or then a set in sleeve construction, not a dropped shoulder, because I want to keep it more fitted and lighter. And I was debating on whether to start it from bottom up or from top down. And I myself, I kind of like, as designer wise, I prefer to work patterns from bottom up, because it's easier to establish a pattern when you are working the straight body, and when you start to shape whatever shape you make for the shoulders and neckline and so on. It's easier to tell the knitter to stay in the established pattern rather than working from top down when you start to increase. And when you increase, you either have to write everything out really well, so that the person who is working it will know what they are doing next, or you have to chart it, or because it's really hard, because when you are increasing you don't have anything there that you can see what it should be, so you kind of like have to imagine and see what it's becoming. And I think it's harder for many knitters than decreasing in pattern. But then again, it's nicer to knit top down. It looks better on Instagram photos, for example. You can put the yoke on a hanger and take a photo. It looks nicer than like this. Well, these. And it's easier to try on how it fits when you work it from top down. But then again, it takes so much more effort to write the pattern, and the pattern becomes longer. And I've saved this so that I can show it to you. So I started this at first from top down. Can't really see it that well because I have such short needles here. But I worked this first back and forth on the needles. It has a raglan shaping, and then I cast it on stitches for the front neck, and then joined in the round, and I made it all the way to the point when where I want to start to work the garter stitch. And then I realized that this is going to be such an impossible pattern to write, because first of all, for each raglan increase, I have to specify whether the increased stitch is a knit stitch or a purl stitch to stay in pattern. and then going forward from here, the rate of the increases won't stay the same for all the sizes, so doesn't fit very well if you always increase every second round. So you have to change the frequency of the increases to 4 rounds or so to get the right shape. And that happens at different points for different sizes. So at some point there's going to be a round when not every size continues the same way. And to always be able to specify whether the increased stitch will be a knit stitch or a purl stitch, and then also incorporate that how many rounds of this moss stitch type of thing you should work, and how many rounds of the garter stitch and so on. And I started to think that okay, this is going to be one impossible pattern to write. The math was quite easy. It was basic math form, basic raglan math. But pattern writing, either I would have to be very vague and just like write out the pattern and expect that everybody knows how to increase in the pattern, or then I would have to write a lot of things out, and I decided that screw it, not going to do that, and I started it again from the bottom, and I'm going to go from bottom upwards. I'm still thinking about the raglan construction for it, so the next up is sleeves, and this is how much I have made of this, so that just the first rounds of the wider moss stitch. The yarn is actually, it's really gorgeous. This is something new that is coming out, doesn't have any labels. This is from Tukuwool, you know, Tukuwool sock and Tukuwool fingering, and this is a new addition that is coming to the family. This is Tukuwool DK. So it's similar to Tukuwool fingering, 100% Finship wool, but it's DK weight. And this is actually my current color obsession. I have a winter coat exactly the same color. I've always loved green, but always loved more like a really deep forest green, and also like army green, like khaki green. I like more like muted. So this is something that is a new color for me. I think it's called sage green, and that's why I'm calling the pullover at the moment Salvia. Salvia is a sage in Finnish, and this is the Tukuwool color Rohto. So it's really beautiful. I think it looks really nice on me. So I'm really happy about this yarn and looking forward to wearing that pullover. Quickly at the end of the video I will show you 2 yarns that are next things that I'm going to be casting on. This is a collaboration with the Finnish yarn shop called Nurja, which is in Tampere, and they asked if I wanted to collaborate with them, making a design for them. So using Wilhelmi from Vuonue, and this is also Finnish wool. So this 70% Finnish wool and 30% tencel. So it's a really beautiful color, and also silk mohair from Nurja's own range of yarns, and it doesn't have any name on it. I think this is a new color that they are coming out with, so I'm going to be combining these. They're actually quite similar to the ones that I'm using for the pant pullover. Let's see, I think Luna is sleeping on the brown skein. ones here. Actually, they're very similar to this, but I'm gonna use this for a pullover. And then I have this off-white yarn from Cascade. So this is the 220, Cascade 220. And do you know, do you have the like sometimes you're obsessed with something and you feel like you're doing it all the time, and then suddenly you realize that actually you have never done it, you have been thinking about doing it for such a long time that you feel that you have already used that idea. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but I have always loved cable knitted, like classic cable knitted off-white pullovers, and I have Pinterest boards full of different cable pullovers, and I kind of like feel that I'm all the time saving photos of white cable pullovers. I'm always gravitating towards them, and then I feel like, oh, I can't make another off-white cable pullover. I have to do something else. I can't do another again. Until just a short time ago, I realized that first of all, I don't have any off-white cable pullovers, and secondly, I have never designed an off-white cable pullover. So I think I've been so into the idea of wanting to have and wanting to knit, and I planned to knit one so many times that my brain has actually came up with the idea that I have already made several of them and that I can't make more, I have to do something else. Until I realized that actually I haven't done any. So I think what you will see from me in the very short future is at least one off-white cable pullover, probably more than one, because I love them so much. So that's what this is for. I really like this. It's really plumpy, as you can see, really bouncy and plumpy and soft. Just want to like squeeze it. It's so gorgeous. But yeah, that's everything I have on my needles at the moment. I filmed another video here a while back, and I talked about the 2x2 ripped sock discussion that I started a while back, but I never got around to editing the video and releasing it. And by the time that I started to think that okay, I should edit it, I realized that it's kind of like old news for me, and I wanted to make another video to talk about, because I've had time to think more about the subject, and I have some new thoughts on it. So it's something that I kind of wanted to talk to you about, but that's the topic for another video. And I think I've already been talking here for such a long time that I should stop and let you get on with your days. Thanks for watching my videos, and if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel so you will always get notified when a new video comes out. But yeah, that's everything from me today, and I'll try to film another video soon, but let's see what the weathers are like. Like you can see, I have changed my film studio to our bedroom because there's slightly more light than in our living room at the moment, so I'm currently filming from here. But yeah, that's everything for today.